Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Between Two Brokers. Today, we have famous Punchlist owner, world famous local celebrity, Jimmy Banyas. Banyas. Sorry about that.
Right.
Sorry about my ethnic accent.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, so you own Punchlist. Tell everybody what Punchlist is. Obviously, all the real estate agents in town know what it is, but
yeah. So we started Punchlist to work exclusively with real estate agents to handle all the repairs off a home inspection. We wanted to bring the value of turning around an estimate in 24 hours off a complete home inspection. We wanted to bring a dedicated success manager, which handles all the communications between you, your clients, and the contractors. And then we wanted to be a one-stop shop, turnkey for the agents. Just give it to us, walk away, and we'll make sure it happens and pay us at closing. That's how we started the company.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
And then tell us how you started the company. So you were in real estate, correct?
Yeah, I sold real estate in Charleston for about 15 years full time. And then
you were like, this is for the birds.
No, yeah, pretty much. No, I had to run a listings. I had 5 of them in a row, and just one after the next. I got these home inspection reports with 4 or 5 items on it, but I needed a plumber, an electrician, and a handyman and a roofer, and I just couldn't get these guys out for $200, $300. So I would call one handyman guy I knew that was doing some things on the side, and he'd knock them all out for me. And then after the 5th one, we actually went to shelter, sat down, had a beer. And he said, I appreciate the business, but why do you keep calling me? And I brought out the real estate contract and we broke it down. And we broke it down what happens the first 7 to 10 days with scheduling the home inspection, getting the home inspection back, having to turn around all these estimates. So that was our first goal, is to be able to turn around an estimate quick, from multiple trades. And so we built an AI learning engine because we see the same things over and over from these home inspection reports. Every home inspection report is going to have a GFCI outlet on it. And so now we can turn around our estimates in 24 hours. We do nationwide, including Canada. So I think we're producing somewhere between 7,000 to 8,000 estimates a month nationwide. And from there, I said, we need to have a plumber, an electrician, and a handyman, all skilled trades, all licensed and insured per the contract. And he said, is anybody doing this? I said, nope, we need to build it. He said, what do you want to call it? I said, well, all the agents call it the punch list, so why don't we just call it Punchlist? And we cheersed our beers and had a sip, and the lady at the table next to us turned around, said I was eavesdropping, gave us her business card, and said, I need you next week. And we did a $4,000 job for her, put that money back into the company, and we never put a dime into it after that.
Wow.
I love eavesdropping.
Yeah. It's good. Eavesdropping started our business.
So I was always under the assumption that somebody was actually like sitting there going item by item through the inspection, but you're saying AI is doing it?
Initially, we started with, we were running through the home inspection report. And what was helping us, before the COVID world, you'd have a repair addendum. An agent would actually run through the list of home inspection items, put a list together of the critical things, the plumbing, the electrical, the roof, the foundation. So we'd only have to look at 5 to 10 items. As we built our system out, now people just upload the whole entire 80-page home inspection, and we just run through every item that the home inspector called out. That's good and bad. Sometimes it gives the buyer sticker shock of all of these ticky-tack items that these home inspectors are going to call out, whether it be a loose door handle, something so minuscule, but they still want the price on it. So it can get up there. So when we get a defined repair addendum, it makes our job a lot easier.
Okay, shame on you agents for uploading the entire fucking inspection report.
Basically.
That's ridiculous. They're like 160 pages long sometimes. But I will say that when the contract changed from repair procedure to due diligence, was that last summer or the summer before? Last summer. You do see a lot more like cosmetic repair requests and silly stuff. So did you see a big difference in the amount of repairs that you were quoting per house?
Not really. It's the same. Home inspection's a home inspection, and these home inspectors are there to find items. We do a lot of pre-listing work. So we go in there, a lot of people do pre-listing home inspections, walk through, we'll go and fix every item on that home inspection. The next home inspector from the buyer is going to come in, he's going to find something.
Yeah.
So that's their job, and they have to find stuff to fix, and we fix it.
Talk about pre-home inspections.
Okay.
So it's not coming from one of us, it's coming from you. Tell people why they should have one.
Okay, so when we started, Punchlist, from the agent side of things, we started really looking into the pre-listing repairs, the pre-listing cosmetic touch-ups, from curb to door, right? What's this look like? And so we started working with the National Association of Realtors, and we started getting these stats. And if you do some pre-listing work, cosmetic upgrades, even staging, you're going to make between 3 and 5% more on the sale of your house. That's an NAR statistic. So if you do that, your commissions are taken care of. The house is going to sell better. I think what people have forgotten is during COVID is all these houses were just signed in the yard as is. People weren't doing any repairs, so they didn't have to do anything. As the market's just shifted, we are getting bombarded with pre-listing repairs now. Mm-hmm. You gotta have apples to apples. If that house is busted up and this house isn't, the buyer's gonna go with a nicer house. Mm-hmm. It's the bottom line.
And I think what people don't realize, and we tell our clients this all the time when we're negotiating, the price negotiation is often the simplest part of the negotiation. Mm-hmm. Then the inspector goes in, they give us a 70-page report. Even on new construction, they make it sound like the house is going to fall down.
Correct.
The buyer freaks out. The seller thinks there's nothing wrong with their house, and it creates all this dispute. When most of my clients are able to lean on me because of my experience, but it's so valuable having that list of estimates so I can, it just helps with the negotiation. It facilitates it. It makes it so much faster. I think having estimates from Punchlist is it's essential.
Yep.
As part of a negotiation, because what used to happen before we had you was literally agents pulling numbers out of their ass. Mm-hmm.
And that's not good.
No, because the buyer's agent comes to the listing agent and says, okay, there are 3 loose door handles and the inspector says that you have to trim these limbs away from the house. We would like $15,000, and of course the seller's like, no.
Right.
And let's release and all this. And it just, what you don't want in a real estate transaction is for it to become contentious, which is very, very common. It's very difficult for people to get on the same page. But when a buyer's agent can show the seller and the listing agent the itemized estimate, then it gives it gives us some cred. This is where we're coming from, and we're going to ask for 5 of these things, and that's reasonable, versus just. And the other thing I want to talk about is what I tell every single one of my clients who has not purchased and sold a lot of real estate is contractors think inspectors are stupid. They don't think that they're stupid. They just sigh and roll their eyes when they look at an inspection report. Let me just put it that way. Because it's the inspector's job to observe and report every single thing that could go wrong in the future to kind of cover their ass. Mm-hmm. But what a contractor deems as really important, they're like, that's not a big deal, or that's how they used to do it, or right. Whatever. So I think what you guys do just kind of whatever. It's everything we see the same stuff over and over again.
Yep.
The same 10 to 15 items on every single inspection.
Yeah, and kind of going back to your first statement, about agents just pulling numbers out of the hat, and saying this is $5,000. Well, you got to worry about your E&O insurance, right, on this. So we have agencies that mandate every single one of their agents put every single home inspection report through our system, so they have a itemized from a general contractor a full estimate that they can prove that this is what the cost. So what's happened a lot of times, and we've seen it, agents say, yeah, that's $5,000, let's ask for $5,000. Buyer buys the house, comes back to us, gives us the home inspection, we turn it around for 11, and now they're going back and suing the agent.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's why, as an agent, you wouldn't run it through a system, I'm not sure, even if you're just negotiating credit. Mm-hmm. Just to have it to prove to yourself, to prove to your client, this is licensed, insured, contractors, here's the estimate.
The entire report.
The entire report.
Oof.
Okay, I want to talk about...
And then let me start with the contractors versus inspectors.
Okay, yeah, go.
They do not like each other.
Yeah, they do not.
At all.
I know.
The inspectors think the contractors are there to call out stuff they've either missed or is fine. They're calling the inspector out. The inspector's calling the contractor out. So what we've really had to do, and we've partnered with some national home inspection companies. So we've had to educate these home inspectors on what Punchlist does as a contractor. we're not there to go in there and upsell the agent, upsell the transaction. If you ask us to fix 8 items, we're fixing 8 items. We're not saying, oh, you should fix 9, 10, 11. That's going to screw up the contract. It's going to screw up the deal. You tell us what to fix, we fix it. Here's the proof, pay us at closing. So we're not there to call out the inspector, call out another contractor, or upsell. So we're just trying to get the transaction done.
Are there certain items that you look at on a report? And, well, I'm assuming that a human puts their eyes on these reports, not just AI.
They do. That
you have to go to the property and look at it before you can give a price.
Yeah, so what's happened is I've never seen an industry get sued so much as the home inspection world. So home inspectors now are becoming vaguer and vaguer with their terminology, where it's, oh, there's numerous fogged windows. There's numerous, door locks that don't work. They're not calling out numbers anymore because if they miss one, they're going to get sued. So a lot of the times we do have to go out and do site visits to get that finalized number. Now the agents can help us, the homeowners can help us, and we call them if we have questions with that. Hey, how many fogged windows are in the house? Oh, there's 4. Okay, well now we can give an estimate. So yeah, so with our partners and people that agents that use us a lot, we do free site visits to actually get down to that number. Sometimes if they're negotiating credit, we'll give them a range and they can just ask for the range just to move the transaction, smoother. Yeah. But yeah, we do a lot of site visits to ensure that it takes it from an estimate to a quote.
Yeah. My favorite line from an inspection report is like, this roof will fail at some point in the future. It's like...
No kidding, right?
Nearing the end of its life.
Nearing the end of its life.
And that's the other thing that I tell people. So like with HVAC, roofs, and this is, again, is why you want to have a pre-listing inspection and get all of your repairs done by Punchlist before you list. Because then what happens is after you get the inspector out, then you got to have a roofer, you got to have an HVAC inspector. Like if I suspect that anything is older, I'm going to have all those people come out during my home inspection because I already know that the home inspector is going to be very vague and say it needs to be assessed by a professional.
Service in the HVAC is the number one thing on every home inspection.
Yeah.
No one, if they say they did it, they don't have proof. It's going to be called out every time. And then you go down to GFCI outlets, then there's, rotten wood, leaves, trees hitting the house. There's so many little things, small things that you can do when listing a home to make sure that home inspector doesn't call anything out.
Light bulbs.
Light bulbs, trimming the vegetation off the side of your house. Yeah.
How much do you charge to change a light bulb?
It depends how high that bulb is.
Come on, tell us. Just answer the question.
I gotta have a 30-foot ladder to get to that bulb.
That's a $100.
That's a $45 bulb change right there.
$45 bulb change. So what happens is the inspector is basically warning the buyer that there's a chance that the light fixture may not be working because there is probably a burnt out light bulb.
Right. So then what happens is the agent just copies and pastes what the inspector said on a repair addendum, and it says repair/replace. So if you ask us to repair/replace, we're going to try to repair it first, and if we can't, we're going to replace it. But no matter what we do, either one we choose, we're wrong.
Right.
If we replaced it, well, we wanted it repaired. If we repaired it, well, we want to replace. And this is just to all agents out there. If you're putting a list together, be as defined as possible on what you want and what your clients want. The vaguer it is, the more issues it's going to bring up.
Yeah.
And are these trades working exclusively with you, or are they mostly contract?
The majority of them are independent contractors because they choose to be.
Yeah.
But what I'd say 70% of all of our tradesmen work exclusively with us.
Nice.
And sometimes they want to be independent contractors, so they don't want to work on Friday. This, especially in Charleston, so we got to mix and match. And, we have a book of, 5 plumbers, 5 electricians, 5 handymen. But what we're actually doing with these tradespeople is we're running their back-end business for them. So as a plumber, all you have to do, wake up Wednesday morning, you get the scope of work, go fix it. We'll pay you on Friday. They don't have to schedule. They don't have to chase checks. They don't have to do anything but plumb.
Yep.
So the guys who buy into it, that's all they do. And we'll just feed them business as long as they do a good job.
For anyone not familiar with Charleston, if you don't get something done between Monday and Thursday, you can be waiting until the next Monday because nobody works.
Well, and good luck on
Monday. Nobody works
Monday.
past like 1 or 2 on Thursday.
Right. And then Monday mornings, nobody.
Fridays off.
Yeah. Monday mornings,
we're working. We're sitting here working, right? It's Friday.
Is this work?
I don't know.
feels like a leisure
St.
day to me.
Patrick's Day, we could be doing something else.
There's beer on the table.
I don't have green on. You
No,
got
I'm
green
more.
on.
Yeah.
These two. Look, pinches for everybody.
The other thing I think that's so valuable about what you offer is like, I know I can get somebody to show up right away. Whereas if I like Google an electrician or Google a plumber or whatever, like they're like, oh, we're booking 3 weeks out.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are on it. So can you talk about like how you communicate with your team about what the expectations are? If I approach you about coming to do a job, like how quickly you guys can get out and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So, the main thing was having 4 or 5 tradespeople on a $2,500 job. Mm-hmm. Our average ticket price when we started out was about $2,500. Mm-hmm. So we're not doing 10, 20, we didn't start doing $10,000, $20,000 renovations. So we needed those plumbers, those electricians, those handymen, whoever. We scheduled them to come in, knock it out, hopefully in one day, and move on. And if we can keep their scheduling process in line, then we can just feed them work every day. So what happens is when you call them and they're a plumber and an electrician and they answer your phone, well, they have to stop being a plumber and electrician. Mm-hmm. So they're getting calls all day. Then they got to go home and email. Then they got to work their QuickBooks, and they got to do running a business as an independent contractor is the biggest problem. It's not the trade. It's not what you're doing as your talent. It's actually running your business.
Right.
And we basically take control of that for them.
Right.
And then if they want to go do other jobs, they go do other jobs and tell us they can't do another job for a week, and we're fine.
Yeah.
And we just rotate them in and out.
So this was birthed in Charleston, but you've expanded to a lot of cities. Mm-hmm. Did this really not exist in all the cities that you've?
No.
All the
no one's
markets
ever. There's been some companies that have tried and they failed. It's hard, know. And
Why is it hard? Like, what has been the biggest challenge? Is it getting the good tradespeople? Is it the estimates? What is it?
It's all of it, and working with real estate agents is
Why?
difficult.
We're terrible. We are. Everyone knows that.
High expectations.
Demanding.
Coke's not a quarter anymore, and so we got to get the older guard, to realize that things aren't as cheap.
Yeah, the prices.
The pricing's difficult. You're herding cats. You're trying to make this all seamless happen in 2 days.
Yeah.
To keep this transaction going along. But when the focus is there and you build a business model there, I think we've done a pretty good job at it.
Well, and do you think your background in like understanding real estate agents and everything is what like helped you kind of deal with because I have to deal with real estate agents as a broker all the time,
right.
and I'm unfazed by all the bullshit that they throw at me. I'm just
and,
like, okay.
Yeah, it's not boasting, but yes, as a real estate agent, I knew the transaction. I knew, I've closed over 400 deals, so I know what was going on. Mm-hmm. I know the mentality of these people and what they're thinking. And I think that was a big part of our success. Rich Estes handled all the contractor side of things because I can't fix shit. And I just knew the real estate play. And we just really worked together and really did a good job to build this company and move it forward.
So talk about how the Charleston market and its role, like the volume that you do in Charleston versus the other cities. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. So some of the other cities that you're in, larger population, obviously you're newer there, so you're still kind of creating relationships. And I assuming you're marketing real estate agents.
Yeah, and we do the same marketing plan as when we open a new city. Okay. Let's go to the top brokerages. We did some partnerships with some national firms. I like the boutiques. The boutiques seem to not have as many loiterers just hanging around the office. Mm-hmm. They're all producing, they're all working as a team, and they want to see their colleagues have success. You go to the big boxes, they don't care. People act like they have a job, they're selling 1-2 houses a year. That's a really big problem. And I think we spoke, mm-hmm. the other day about people doing 1-2 deals a year. They never get the professionalism that they need and the experience that they need to be successful. So as we grow and as we, market out to these other real estate agents, we use the agents as a channel sale. Ultimately, your client's paying for the repairs, but we use you because it's the hardest thing that I ever had to deal with in selling real estate is getting through this home inspection process.
Yeah, same.
No.
When you mentioned like lawsuits and people just like ignoring inspections during COVID, I'm starting to see a lot of headlines now about how home buyers are regretting the purchases that they made and the things that they waived during the height of the COVID boom. And they're now going back and suing their agents for, even suggesting that they waive an inspection.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never waive an inspection.
Oh, me neither. And I happily lost out on a lot of deals, a lot of multiple offer situations during COVID because I would not advise my people to waive an inspection completely. Right. I mean, I just would never do that. I don't know how I could sleep at night.
You have to know what's going on in the house.
Yeah.
Right? That's tough.
Scary.
Yeah.
So you're a serial entrepreneur at this point, right? Like you're starting a bunch of other businesses.
Yeah.
Can you talk about any of them that are here in Charleston?
Yeah. I don't know how I became I guess got in the real estate business is your first entrepreneurial, step. I was in the golf business for a long time and then, didn't want to work weekends and holidays anymore. So I became a real estate agent and then I'm working weekend and holidays. So that's where it started. My dad was an entrepreneur and then became an inventor. So I just kind of went into that world and I don't want to have a boss.
Yeah.
Having a boss sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tell us about your new business.
So we did I joined up with two other guys and did a fun little shop. We're doing a skateboard shop, bicycle shop, and we have a non-alcoholic bar in the back. California soberish, but no alcohol. It's been a fun little project, and it's a different experience being in a bar socially when no one's drinking.
Yeah.
It's fun. So it's that just launched in January. We're doing a good job. It's fun. We're renting some bikes, Crafty Cranks and Board Shop. And then the bar's called the Boardroom. Decked out with skateboards. Y'all come in, it looks like an art piece. It's pretty cool. So that's been a fun little deal. And working on some other little projects to kind of kick off later this year. And some are going to be in the real estate world, some are not. And we'll see where it goes.
So tell everybody where they can find Punchlist and find you online.
Okay. Yeah, so it's punchlistusa.com. All you have to do is go there if you have an inspection report, if you have an engineer's report, if you have a CL 100, anything you need help with, you can just go upload those documents and put a little information about the house, what side you are in the transaction, and we'll turn around that estimate for you in 24 hours. That includes weekends. And it's as easy as that.
And it's not just limited to real estate agents. Anybody
can do it.
Yes, that's what's awesome.
So punchlistusa.com, or you can go to NAR's website. We late last year, we got to become the exclusive partner with the National Association of Realtors.
Wow.
Estimating and repair partner. So we're doing nationwide estimates for NAR. So you can go to their website. It's free to any NAR member across the nation for free turnaround on estimates.
Well,
so
thank you for starting this business. You've really made our lives a lot easier, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, and I mean, we misbehave because our lives are stressful, right?
Yeah. We don't misbehave.
Anyway, Jimmy, thank you so much for coming on.
I appreciate you guys having me. It's awesome.
Yeah, we really appreciate other entrepreneurs in Charleston. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Don't forget to check out punchlistusa.com. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to Between Two Brokers. That's it. Bye.
Thanks, guys.